Alright, the muffin here. Just have a subscriber request to do a vid of tips and tricks on the T49. I'm doing this because I think there's a lot of people that could benefit from this. A lot of my subscribers want to help out. I don't proclaim to be the best player, but hopefully this is something that could just help everyone out. So anyway, T49, to sum it up, is kind of an interesting tank because it's a very opportunistic tank, opportunistic, if that's even a real word, and a tank that's also just pure RNG. You want to stay, obviously want a spot for your team, as I'm doing here. I just could not pass this up. You just get all the feelings, you just gotta love those shots. But anyway, as the T49, you don't have any armor, you've got decent gun depression, you're basically a light tank KV2 is a good way to put it. You don't have great penetration, so you're definitely going to struggle with tanks when facing them head on. You do have a very high damage AG round, which you could just shoot and just kind of splash. So I've got games, I think about 4 games just back to back. I even have the timestamps on them. I just sat down and just said, you know what, I'm just gonna play 4 games. I don't care how they turn out. I want this to be as real as possible and just give you guys some sort of tips and tricks on T49 and not trying to put something together all the best games and all that. So hopefully this will help out. So really what I'm doing here is I was always staying within perimeter of my team. So my team always had visual of where I was. If I was ever in trouble, they could easily get shots off the enemy that was either approaching me or even being a threat to me. Now, I'm kind of keeping my distance, but I've been keeping track of where the enemies are, and I know most of them are out on that far left-hand side. So I'm coming up, spotting before I dive back in, or I dive in to go a little bit closer. I see there's a guy over here that's been detected. I want to come up on him, and I'm paying attention to the map. The thing about the T49 is you have to be very aware of your situation. Just very aware of where your team is, very aware of the enemies, and when enemies are spotted, trying to count those. So coming up here, this guy just beautiful shot right there. Was able just to get that one right in. And then now I'm able to kind of come in a spot where I'm behind them. I'm using this hill in case there is maybe a destroyer over there, but I think he's out there because who we've got left is that J Panther, and I had known from earlier that we had seen him up there. So we're doing honestly really good here, but it's a very you have to look for open opportunities. And for the T49, because you have no armor, you cannot be an enemy's focal point or center of attention, to have their cannon be pointed at you and then take a hit. You just won't bounce anything. You will take the full brunt of it. The T49 and how you play with it, you've got to utilize your team, be very aware, and you've got every move you make across the battlefield either has to be some for very strategic reason, or it needs to be in a way that is from going from cover to cover to cover. Never in a way that you're completely exposing yourself. You do have a long reload, so you do have to take that into consideration too. So next up here, we got new bait. A lot of people like going over to the bridge over there. Sometimes I like mixing it up. Once again, I'm going to an area where I can try to get eyes on my enemies of where they're at and to keep me safe as well. So I just kind of breach myself a little bit here. I see that there's an enemy coming. I'm detected. Most likely I knew that was going to happen. I'm going to try to keep myself protected, because just until I can get undetected a little bit, I see that, okay, now I'm spotting some other enemies, and I'm trying to use my spotting ability as a light tank to help my team know where those enemies are. As a light tank, it's very important for you to do that as your job, to try to get eyes on where the enemy is. So your tank destroyers, your heavy tanks know where to move, to engage, how to approach the enemy, keeps them visible, and knows, yeah, they can basically just get shots on them. So I'm coming up over here far. I'm kind of staying with my team. I'm not just going completely solo, but I am kind of in front of them because I'm trying to get eyes. These guys are advancing. I'm going to go a little bit further out here on the far left just to see, because what I'm trying to do is I want to try to get to areas where I'm getting along the sides or along like tanks' weak spots. So I just unfortunately was not quite able to get this RHM. It would have been just so nice, but I see this Jag Tiger right here. Get a shot right in him. And that's the thing, it's a very opportunist tank. Like, you're just looking for those opportunities to, I'm kind of sticking around the parameter of where my team is and looking for those tanks that are alone, kind of by themselves. They're not paying attention to me. Now this, honestly, this was a stupid move. I knew the RHM was up here, and his chances of pointing at me was super high. I was already detected by those enemies. I just got way selfish and just wanting to get an HE round in this RHM and just thinking I could maybe outsmart him, or that was honestly just such a stupid move. I really should have looped back around. That was a perfect example right there of when I had gone completely out and away from my team. I should have kept close and kept looping around, looking for those opportunities to find tanks that were either distracted. So here's another one. I'm trying to get myself in a position. My teammates like are way far back. They're not really doing much, but I'm trying to get into a position where I can start detecting and finding where the enemies are. So I'm trying to cover as much ground as I can, but I'm still in a position now that this is pure RNG right there. Like, talk about, I mean, that's just one of the things about this can. It is honestly just pure, like, it is just really luck. But when you get those shots, it just feels good. But anyway, like, I'm getting myself, I'm like scurrying to a place, and there's RNG. Just RNG too. Anyway, but it's like just one of these tanks that you've got to just get from cover to cover to cover. I can't just be like fully exposing myself. I can't be the focal point of an enemy's like attention. The high damage HE round is just nice, because if you just don't have a shot, I mean, I did 220 to that SU just there. So, and this is one of the things I'm like using my teammates. I don't want to just completely sacrifice my hit point pool, but I see this guy is going for it anyway. It's probably messed up. I'm using him as kind of like a meat shield, but he's going for it anyway, and he's a heavy tank. So if anything happens, I mean, he wasn't angled very well, but I'm trying to like stick with my team. I'm trying to kind of stay within that perimeter, but in the same way, like, I'm trying to be up on the front lines and spot and give my teammates eyes so they know where to advance and move as well. So they're capping. I'm trying to get to a position utilizing some of my gun depression. I don't have quite, like, I kind of do, but he's angling, and I just want to make sure I can reset that cap. And my HE shell looks like it was able to damage a lot of like modules and stuff, which was nice. But I'm just trying to reset the cap, and this can be a pretty powerful place to be. Like, even right here, the team is all, you know, we're kind of falling apart. But I come up here, and I'm just trying to see, I've got good view range. I'm just trying to see if I can just snap a shot right here, if anyone ends up just coming out just along this one side. But no one really does, and I really just get bad luck here. I don't have quite the penetration. I use an HE, and I just totally end up hitting that pillar. So that was just unfortunate. But I realize, like, we've got lights. They've got way better heavily armored tanks. This is most likely a loss. Team's falling apart, so I'm really trying to be on the run at this point, and just take what shots I can. That Tiger one got a good shot there. And what I'm trying to do is have the light tanks chase me and not allow the tank destroyers and the heavies to catch up, so I can try to like get rid of their lights one by one, and then their heavies just cap this. I totally I totally missed the firing button when he like zipped on by. I don't even know where I was hitting on the screen. Just one of those iPad issues. I think I need to change that other mode, just that you can kind of touch anywhere on the screen and it works. Might have actually helped me. So here, once again, I'm trying to get into an area where I can effectively spot, and I get really lucky here. I think my internet might have lagged a little bit, but I'm trying to get to an area where I'm like, I know I can be really safe, but I'm like right here. I got lucky, but I'm trying to get to an area that I can get eyes on my team, or sorry, on the enemy in a very safe manner. Try to snapshots. I'm not being the center of attention. I can see the circumference. I'm paying attention to the map. I'm paying attention to where the enemies are. I'm starting to notice there's no enemies over here being spotted on the right. They're starting to have some of these over here on the left, but I need to advance. And I'm looking, there's this opportunist like path right here. I'm noticing there's no one really detected and there's all of a sudden this clutter of tanks here. So now here's my opportunity. This is that's just what I'm talking about. It's a very opportunist. You have to look for those windows of opportunity by going from cover to cover to cover in a very protective manner. You got to pay attention to your surroundings. You got to know where your team is at. You got to help your team. You got to help give them eyes. Now, like I said, I mean, I had mentioned, like, I'm not, the best player. I have like a 60+% win rate. My average damage with my tier 10s is like 2,300 damage. But there's other like players that come out with excellent reviews. Like I loved Droodle's review on the Leopard. He did an excellent review on Leopard with the light tank. And so anyway, T49. It also has that really long reload rate. So it is never a good idea to get yourself in a DPM battle unless you know with your round if you can, get in and just hit and kill them with that one hit. But if you're ever in a situation where you're in a DPM battle, like just trying to duke it out with who can shoot the fastest, that's not really the position you want to be in with the T49. And coming along like a lot of the front of tanks, that's not really the strength of the T49 as well. we both just snapshot each other pretty good here. So I'm backing up, I'm trying to get to my team, I'm trying to pull him out toward me because I know he's really gonna want to shoot me, and just lure him into my team to hopefully help them get rid of him. So hopefully this helped. This is the Muffin here. You guys stay cool and keep tanking.